Hello everyone, my name is Haley Schmidhammer, Planning Associate from the CARES of New York Planning Team. Today I will provide a brief overview of new opportunities for renewal project applications. This webinar will be relevant for agencies that have COC funded projects currently. CARES developed this webinar because we believe it is our responsibility as collaborative applicant to provide clear and concise information on new opportunities for renewing projects to the full community to ensure the COC process is community-centered and transparent. Today's presentation provides a summary of opportunities for renewing projects in a brief, succinct format. Specifically, the presentation will discuss transition grants and consolidation of COC projects. Because the NOFO details a variety of important topics, CARES has produced a series of webinars to cover specific topics in more detail. Additional webinars include presentations on NOFO summary, HUD priorities and the consolidated application, new project opportunities including bonus and reallocation, DV bonus opportunities, opportunities for renewing projects including consolidation and transition grants, the topic of today's webinar, eSNAPS refresher, setting up a renewal project, and an eSNAPS refresher on setting up a new project. Please be sure to view these webinars on the NOFO section of the CARES website. Please also be sure to visit the NOFO page on the CARES website regularly for important application information and due dates. Today's presentation provides an overview of two opportunities for renewing projects which are again included in the NOFO: consolidating projects and creating transition grants. We hope these opportunities help our COCs improve their catalog of services. Please be aware that at the end of this webinar, there is a slide which unpacks all acronyms used in this presentation. The FY 2022 Continuum of Care, or COC, program competition opened on Monday, August 1st, 2022, and will close on Friday, September 30th at 8 p.m. The deadline for the submission of renewal projects in eSNAPS is Friday, August 19th. CARES will then review the applications and send back proposed edits. As collaborative applicant, CARES has established Wednesday, September 7th as the drop-dead deadline for final, new, and renewal applications in eSNAPS. For UFA communities, CARES will complete all project applications on behalf of the subrecipients. If you are interested in transitioning or consolidating a project, please reach out to Samantha Barnaby. Let's begin with describing the option of project consolidation. Eligible renewal project applicants will continue to have the ability to consolidate 2 or more eligible renewal projects, but no more than 10 projects, into one project application. Prior to beginning the consolidation process in the project application, the applicant should consult with the Regional HUD Field Office to ensure that each project is eligible to consolidate. The projects being combined during a grant consolidation will continue uninterrupted. HUD outlines a list of conditions which preclude projects from consolidating, which include outstanding audit or monitoring findings, outstanding obligation to HUD that is in arrears, unresolved construction delays, a history of poor financial management or drawdown issues, a history of low occupancy levels or lack of experience in administering the project type, or other capacity issues. HUD will also not permit a transitional housing and permanent housing project to consolidate to form a joint transitional housing and rapid rehousing component project, or a transition grant to be consolidated with any other project. If a project meeting these characteristics attempts to consolidate as part of the project application process, HUD will not consider the consolidation, but rather select the projects individually in their ranked position, provided they pass project eligibility and project quality threshold requirements. To apply for a consolidated grant, applicants must submit separate renewal project applications for each of the grants proposed to be consolidated. That includes the grant number that will survive, which must be the grant with the earliest start date in calendar year 2023. Project applications for the grants that are proposed to be part of the consolidation must be ranked with a unique rank number for each project, and if selected, HUD will conditionally award the single consolidated grant based on its ranked position. Let's move on to transition grants, which can be utilized by applicants to transition their projects from one COC program component to another. For instance, changing a transitional housing program to a rapid rehousing program. Transition grants allow extra time for applicants to wind down on one component while ramping up the new. Project applicants must use the reallocation process to relocate the existing eligible renewal component to one of the eligible new components. To create a transition project, the COC must completely eliminate one or more projects to create a single new transition grant. The COC Program Competition NOFO outlines key concepts and requirements related to transition grant eligibility. Of particular note, recipients may use as much of the awarded grant funds on the costs of eligible activities of the program component originally funded. However, by the end of the operating year, the recipient must be fully operating the new program component. Projects must be from the same recipient for the eligible renewal grants being eliminated. Also, the project must be from the same recipient for the eligible renewal grants to be eliminated. Transition grants awarded in the program competition will have 1 year to fully transition from the original component to the new component, then will be eligible to apply for renewal in the following program competition under the component to which it transitioned. The term of the transition grant is 1 year. Transition grants must be fully operating under the new component by the end of the operating year for which funds were awarded. Lastly, the project applicant must provide the contract numbers of the projects being eliminated to create the new project and must attach a copy of the most recently awarded project application. In order to be considered eligible to receive a transition grant, the renewal project must have the consent of its continuum of care, and the new project application must meet project quality thresholds established by HUD as stated in the NOFO. HUD will consider a project approved by the COC if 1. The project application identifies itself as a transition project, and 2. The COC approves and ranks the new transition grant project on the new project listing and the priority listing. HUD anticipates that transition grants will fill funding gaps for programs changing, for instance, from a transitional housing program to a joint transitional and rapid rehousing project, and to provide COCs the opportunity to expand their capacity while minimizing the risk of the reallocation process. In summary, let's remember our shared goals: to end homelessness for all, create a systemic response to homelessness, strategically allocate and use resources. With the options to create a transition grant and consolidate projects, COCs will be able to reduce the overall costs in terms of administration expenses and time, and can transition project types to meet a need in the community. These options provide some methods that, if planned and accounted for and used effectively, will provide our communities with more flexibility to reach our shared goals. For any questions, please contact any member of the CARES planning team. Be sure to visit the NOFO section of the CARES website for more information and important deadlines, and thank you for listening to this webinar. In summary, let's remember our shared goals: to end homelessness for all, create a systemic response to homelessness, and strategically allocate and use resources. Thank you.